Hello, I'm Verdi Arbusto, and this is the Schumann Resonance channel on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the love and the support. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the feedback. Um, if you're new here, welcome. And stick around. It hopefully will get a little easier for you to understand this stuff. If you're new here, ask me questions, specific questions. Read a little bit. There's no, like there's no dumb questions to this because there's a very steep learning curve to this. And if you have not been, I have a built-in advantage in this that I have worked at radio stations. I've done audio video editing. I've fixed computers. I've worked on computers. I've studied electronics. I've for quite a long time, I have been, interested in electronics. When I was at college in the public speaking course, Mitchell College in New London. The public speaking class, you have to give a demonstration. One of the exercises was you have to give a demonstration speech. And I spoke on loudspeakers and I gave a demonstration on how a loudspeaker works. Okay. Um, so for me, this is second nature. I understand a lot of this stuff coming into it. It's from, I have a basis of understanding coming into this. You may not. Right. So there's a lot of concepts here that are going to be new, and I don't want the jargon, I don't want the vocabulary to get in the way. So if there are words that you don't understand, please feed them back to me. Ask me questions, ask me specific questions, but I really am here to help you. I really want you to understand what it is you're looking at more than just that it's a diagram. It's important for me to make this understandable to you. I'm not getting anything. I'm not getting anything out of this by me confusing you, right? I'm not here to boost my ego or blow smoke up your pantaloons. My job here is to make this as easy to understand as you can. And if you don't understand all of this, that's fine. Some of this, hopefully, some of this you can understand. And if you don't understand all the nuts and bolts, all the intricacies of it, that's fine. As long as you get a lot of the basic concepts, and a lot of times I say this is extremely important. Like if you're going to know anything, know this. And as I'm going through stuff, I make it a point to point out things that are important for people to know. Like for example, what the 7.8 hertz frequency represents. Okay. And the fact that that 7.8 hertz is not moving except for just a little tiny bit. It's moving up 0.3, it's moving down 0.3, but it ain't moving significantly past 7.8. And there's a reason for that. And a lot of what I'm here doing is to kind of give you the alternate view than the rhetoric of the ascension agers or the ascension seekers, as I like to call them. Right? People that are just rhetoric about, the raising of the frequencies and man, oh, it's all love or even it's all light, yeah, but no. it, it may be all light, this, oh yeah, it's all light, but remember, light is a particle or it's a wave, or man, it can be both. And I've talked about that. I've talked about light as a particle, light as a wave. I've talked about you as a particle, people as particles, and people as waves. Right? That's how it relates. It may be all light, but sometimes it may be more about the darkness than the light. Or it may be all about the light, but sometimes that light can be both a particle and a wave. Meaning, you're an individual at this minute, you can act individually, or you can be part of the group, or you can be both, or like either or. That's part of what the whole thing about, oh, it's all light is it's on a spectrum, and the one end of the spectrum may not know what the other end of the spectrum is doing. Right? There's a time function. It's not all light. There is a time function that is involved. Here in Earth, here in 3D, there is definitely a time function involved. Okay, so with that introduction, this is the third video into this, and I haven't gotten into the actual material yet. But the last video I explained about the measurements at Tomsk and what makes Tomsk so special. And like I said, I think I want to do a video on just more on Tomsk and give you some more information on them. But for the time being, I made the point of explaining why Tomsk is different from the rest of the world. There's a number of reasons why Tomsk is different, and one of those reasons is that they make it a point to provide this information free to the public because it's a mark of pride on their part, right? They're an engineering school. They have a school that's, within one of their courses of study, they have this information on the Schumann resonances, and it's part of their mission to provide it free to the world, right? No one else got that. It's that simple, right? They're unique. And so Tomsk should be given some respect for that they're not hiding data, they're not falsifying data, because it is a mark of pride for them to provide this information as freely to the public as possible. It's that simple. If the institution was like a lot of them, they would keep it hidden and you'd have to hunt for it, but they don't. They want to make it free to the public. It's because it's their mission. All right, so on with the text. All right, so this video is going to be talking about just the spectrogram. All right, so there's multiple parts to this. There's 4 panels. All right, so the first one here is the spectrogram, and this is a recent one. I took this from today, by the way. So this is the spectrogram. Yeah. Then underneath it, this is the amplitude. All right, so I'm reading here. This is amplitude. The next one is quality, and then the next one under it is frequency. Okay. The spectrogram, boop, this right here. The spectrogram, this is a composite view which is drawn or plotted from real-time information received from the dependencies. So the dependencies of amplitude, of quality, of frequency. The spectrogram is the full color report, this one here on the top. All right. It shows spikes of amplitude, which you're not really seeing here, but you can sort of see lines here. And actually, this right here is a spike of amplitude. You see this kind of thing? It's not in the same way you think about it, but boop, you see that right there? All right, that's amplitude. All right, so you see it's not a spike as people think of like with a pencil. You see those like quick, the quick bursts, and that's what people think of as a spike of amplitude. But this right here is a spike of amplitude because you got the red, the white, and the green here, and you see especially that in the middle of the boom. Okay. Shows the spikes of amplitude as vertical lines. Magnetic waves are shown as horizontal bands, so that's these right here. Well, actually, this is a good example. That's a horizontal band. That is a magnetic signature there. Okay. These 2 variable directions of patterns in the spectrogram represent the direction of light, the direction of travel of the signals being measured. All right. So this is how amplitude travels. It propagates this way. Okay. Upright. Like it's a lightning bolt. Then it comes out in like a column. Comes right at you as if it's a person, like, with the head up and the feet on the bottom. All right, so it's upright like that. That's the electric portion. That's the amplitude. The amplitude is the height of it. What happens is that information, that data, the signal gets ground into the earth. You have that charge. It sparks. It arcs from the upper DC circuit, the ionosphere, into the ground, and then it propagates this way upright. So what you are seeing with the antenna, the vertical portion, vertical conductivity they call it, the vertical portion, the antenna is upright like this. So that is a reflection. That shape that you're seeing, like a pencil, is what you're seeing with amplitude. So the shapes, this isn't the best example to give here because there's not a lot of vertical spikes here that I can show you. In the archive, there's lots of others of them, but just this is the example. I'm not going to go into that, but this is basically just the direction. You can see a little bit kind of there, not really. There's some, like here's one here, that's kind of a good one there. Not really, but that's a good one. The best one we can see on there. All right, so that's how the amplitude moves, and so that's what you're seeing on, on the chart over there, is the spikes of amplitude. All right, now as you can see here, there's not much going on. You get a little bit of a kind of, it's not really a spike that you'd call that, but you know, there's multiple spikes there and multiple spikes there. Ding, 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 ding. All right. So these are what you would call here amplitude spikes. See, there's a point there and it drops. That's the flat top. Some of these are, you know, a lot of these are kind of flat tops, but you see it spikes, goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, like a sawtooth pattern. All right. So those are various amplitude spikes that are being recorded by the machine. So the amplitude moves vertically like that. Okay. Shows, I read that. Okay, so at the far left over here, you have, this is the frequency rating, and we're just talking about the spectrogram here. All right, so on this, this is 0. They start at 0 on the top, and then it moves down to 40. All right, so 40 hertz is the cap of how far they go. So it's 4 hertz increment. So that's 0, that's 4, that's, actually, hold on, let me see if I can. Okay, hopefully that's a better, description, or better view. Hopefully that's a better view. All right, I have 2 different sizes of these. You don't need to know this, but I have 2 different sizes of the educational material. One is a bigger one, that's double the size of my screen, and then the other is a thumbnail, so I can put it on the reduced size of it, so I can put it on the videos. So this right here, my teaching model, okay, should give you better better understanding. There we go. Make sure we're all on the screen. All right. So once again, this is 0 to 8, 12. I'm sorry, 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, and 40. All right, so these are the increments of the measurement for the Schumann resonances coming from Tomsk. All right, so you can see it's approximately at 7.8. Very relatively thin line today. Not much going on with the Schumann resonances. This right here is the base resonance for the Schumann resonance harmonics. This one right here. All right, this 7.8 line, and you see it's not very fat. So what this is telling you is that the line itself is not very dense. There's not much activity in the Schumann resonances. It's still here at 7.8, or it's actually at 8. Technically it's at 8 there, but it's not going any further than that there, right? It's not, the first harmonic is not going past 8. The fundamental frequency of light around the planet is 8 hertz. So it takes light 8 seconds, or 1/8, I'm sorry, 1/8 of a second to get around the globe. So the fundamental frequency of the Schumann resonances doesn't change. The fundamental frequency is 8 hertz. Based on that, the waves traveling around the planet knock into it. Bang. So that 8 hertz frequency goes around the world 8 times. It's bumped into itself 8 times and caused this harmonic at 7.8. Okay, so the light, the radio information, basically, that's going around the world has bumped into itself 8 times by the time 1 second has gone around. Okay, so in the course of it bumping into itself, it ripples, and that ripple stays essentially fixed at a fixed, point of 7.8. Fluctuates a little bit here and there, but the frequency itself is not going to rise because there are a number of constants that keep it held intact. So that's important for you to realize with the spectrogram, that it's showing you that this 7.8, almost 8 hertz frequency line isn't moving. Now you'll see there's a lot of these other resonances in here. What are they measuring? It's a good question. chances are the local interference. So I'm not going to go into the lower resonances here before 7.8 because it's my estimation that a lot of these may be local or more local than in your neck of the woods. Different spectrograms, when you look at them, different spectrograms give you different results, especially in this lower band. And there are stations that only measure in this lower, the lowest band, because there's a lot of activity that happens there that you don't really think about, you don't know, or you might, it's below the 8 hertz, but there is a harmonic that is below. It's actually um, half of 6.6, it's 3.3, so 7.8 minus 3.3 is 4.5. So there's a harmonic approximately at 4.5, 4.5. So it's approximately this one here, right? 4.5. It's approximately this one. So the lowest harmonic of the Schumann resonance is 4.5. That is the first harmonic. The second harmonic is 7.8. All right. So that's what this is telling you. All right. So, all right. The composite, the vertical, where have we gone? All right. So at the far left shows you the resonant frequency. This is the hertz from 4. Again, we go 4 hertz and increments. And actually, the first, you see, you can see down here. All right, this is important to notice. See down here, it's almost black. All right, way, way, way down here, and I say down, meaning at the top of the chart. All right, this is almost at 0. The Schumann resonances start being measured here, okay, at 0.3. So 3/10 of a hertz is where they start getting measured at, and not 0. All right, so the 3.3, 30, 300, the demarcation line of where they pick is at 3. So VLF to ELF, I think it's different organizations use these numbers in different ways. So they don't all universally across the board have the same frequency rating. Sometimes VLF, as in Italy, is 1 to 120 hertz. Okay, so for some of these stations, VLF is they're not all the same. So you have to understand where, when you're looking at something, which designator of VLF or ELF you're looking at. So VLF technically would be 3 to 30 hertz. Okay, so these guys go higher than, they go a little lower than 3, they go a little higher than 30. All right, so they go to 0.3 on the lowest end, and they go to 40 on the upper end. So this is a little bit beyond, technically it's beyond the VLF range, but each of these places does it kind of a little differently. So we're basically saying this is the VLF range. Yet Berkeley out in California has VLF to 120 hertz. So it depends on where you go. They're not all the same. This is a little disclaimer here. It's important for you to know what you are looking at when you are looking at these things. All right. Where else am I? All right. So the top is 40, or the max, the top. So they put, it's up. So the numbers are right side up, so you can read them. But when I talk about the top, I mean up here. When I talk about the bottom, I mean, down here. All right. So they have this upside down. All right. I don't know a better way to put it, but they have it upside down where 0 is at the top and 40 is at the bottom. So it can be a little confusing when we talk about, what's the top and what's the bottom. All right. So there's that confusion. So, don't hold to, the gospel to the direction of, well, you said top, when you meant at 40, which is, the top is really here. The top of the chart is at 40. See this down here? That's the top. 0 starts at the bottom. So this is the bottom of the chart, and this is the top of the chart. Does that make sense? All right. So 0 is the bottom, 4, 8, and then it goes to the top here. So I get confused when I, a lot of times, but that's technically what it's supposed to be, is this is the bottom of the chart and that's the top of the chart, because that's how they have it written there. All right. So the signal, all right, so the signal gets plotted when they do this. It gets plotted from the left, from I say top, the top here,
but I mean the top of the graph. So from top down and left to right. Okay, so the top and bottom thing are funny to kind of understand, but in this case, I'm using top being at the 0, so it starts at 0, and then they go to 40, and then it goes from left to right, and the left and right are still the same. All right. So there's that little confusing bit, and I'm sorry if this is confusing to you, but if you don't know what you're looking at, then it's going to be confusing. All right. So the 0 is at the top here, and the 40 is at the bottom there. Okay. All right. So those are the hertz, and at the bottom here. All right. So up here you have the date. Okay. This is the date. This was the 26th. The date here is the 27th. All right. And then at the bottom here, running along the bottom, you have the time. All right. So the one closest to the chart is the local time. The number set in white is the local time, and then this number set underneath it in the or yellow would be UTC, and UTC stands for Universal Time Coordinated. The UTC is based in Greenwich, England, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, I think it's the home of GMT. There's a university there. I'm trying to remember what the name of it is. Well-known university, which is eluding me. But if I'm not mistaken, I may be, but I don't think I'm mistaken in this. So that's what. So UTC starts at like I said, Greenwich, England, and then it just goes after that each time zone is another hour away. All right. So this is the time scale on the bottom. All right. All right. And so Tomsk. Okay, so Tomsk, when they do their measurements of the Schumann, they have let's see, zoom out. All right, so they have, if you can see, they have, this starts at the 26th at 0 hours, and then you have another 0, then you have another 0, and then you have another 0 here. All right, so that's 1, 2 days, 24-hour periods, and then you have, all right, so 24, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. All right, so they're running now 60 hours of a continuous strip of data, okay? So they can run it a little bit longer. Sometimes you'll see a longer, it varies. Sometimes you'll see data a little bit further out. Sometimes like it's all full. So there is a plotting that happens, and they run this in real time, and you have to kind of take a screen capture of it as it's going by. Okay. So sometimes they post, like I said, a little bit more. Sometimes it's a little bit less. And I would caution anyone that if you're looking at this, just know that it's going to take time to get the data to you. All right? Just understand that. This isn't an appliance like a toaster where you plug it in and then you can turn it on and it's hot like that. There is a lot of moving parts to get this data to you on their website. All right? The spectrogram is measured in one place, and then they send the data somewhere else to post it online. Okay? The antennas take a while to capture the signal. Then there's a processing that comes with it. There is a filtering. There's an amplification of the signal. There is a lot of moving parts to get this out to you. So, please, as a courtesy to the good people of Tomsk, if you see a wider black spot there, just know that it takes some time and some effort to get the signal to you. It's not instantaneous. So please be patient and don't motherfuck Tomsk for them withholding data from you. Please don't post that in my comments. If I'm online and I see that, someone mother effing Tomsk, I speak toward it because you don't know what you're talking about. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of time. Someone has to put the data online. Just remember that. So it does take a while sometimes for the data to get from point alpha to point Z. Just remember that. So if you see a wide band there, it's not because anyone's hiding information. It's not because you don't want to know it, or they're afraid of what's happening, or they don't want us to know. Man, none of that's correct. None of that's true. None of that's correct. Please spare me that rhetoric. All right. So when you see a big wide band there, just know it takes time to get the information online. Have you ever gone to a website and it took you a little time to get there? You see the little thing going like that, right? Do you think that they're hiding information from you? Maybe. I don't know. You could be that kind of way. I don't know. But are you more of an are you that kind of impatient person that when you have to wait, you think people are hiding it from you? Are you that kind of a person? Are you that small-minded and simple? I'm just asking. If things don't go your way instantly, do you think that everything is against you or that they're trying to hide information from you or whatever the other rhetoric? You could be, I don't know, but that's not what is happening here. There's a lot of moving parts. It takes a lot to get the data out online, and who knows where where the data is being held, right? Do you know where their server farm is? Because I don't. No, I couldn't tell you where it is. Is it in Russia? Are they warehousing the data in Russia? Well, if you're in America, it might take a little while for you to get the data in America. Y- if you were there at the Tomsk State University, you could get it pretty instantly. However, I'm not there, you're not there, so it's going to take some time for the data to get to you. So please don't mother F Tomsk when you have a big wide stripe there and insist someone is hiding something from you, because that's not what the facts support. All right, so just that is a public disclaimer. Um, all right, so okay, so the here we are. So the spectrogram. All right, so this is the last paragraph here. I'm almost wrapping this up. So the spectrogram here, think of it as a canvas. This if you started with the original state without any of the colors or anything on here, it would be just this dark blue. The at-rest fair weather state of the environment is this dark blue. It starts out as almost like you see down here, almost black. All right, so this color right here at the top that you just barely can see, this right here, all right, that would be the blank canvas. That is the at-rest state of the environment when there's not anything going on. Like when it's a calm situation, you're likely to see more of this dark blue here. Okay. Or even this indiglow, which you see a lot of it in the background. Okay. So the at-rest state basically is a dark blue. All right. So it starts with the dark blue, or as I say, holds steady. Our hypothetical canvas holds steady as a deep dark blue, nearly black color, waiting for a signal. Okay, so this is a good place to end it, where I talk the next video. I'm going to go into talking about the signal. All right, so. All right. On that cheery note, thank you all for being here. I appreciate the love and support, the comments. Thank you very much, and I shall see you soon. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.